Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it.
How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality.
The real pain in life is getting to the end of it and realizing that you left something on the table, I think. That I had unfulfilled potential. I could have done more, and I didn't.
Right.
What got me to where I am and where I continue to go and where I will continue to go is an insane work ethic.
Yes.
And it's an insane work ethic that you can only put in that amount of work if you were doing something that you are passionate about.
I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and impossible. The fact that something seems impossible shouldn't be a reason to not pursue it. That's exactly what makes it worth pursuing. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and there was no risk? The only true failure is shrinking away from life's challenges.
You think if you keep changing your career, if you keep changing your clothes, if you keep changing your stuff, that your life is gonna change. But no, baby, your life don't change until your mind change. And when your mind change, your behavior change. And when your behavior change, then your life will change.
Yeah, and as I've said since day one, it's motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
There are too many people having too much fun, and you're not getting busy living. You're not taking advantage of life. You're not grinding with life. It's not balanced. The fun, versus the work is not balanced.
Bad things don't come in threes. Bad things happen. People don't know how to cope, and they allow one bad thing to snowball into more. Bad stuff sucks. The only thing worse is letting one bad thing ruin many good things.
I know nobody can tell me that I move the same as any of these guys, because I don't move the same. I move differently. I move unique, and I know I move unique. Not only that, I speak unique. I act unique. I'm just different than these people. You know what I mean? So I
dress unique.
I dress unique. Whatever. I just feel different to these on another level.
If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want.
Nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. Yes. The external is there. Yes. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue.
Human beings can control a lot more than they think they can. And oftentimes it's pretty easy just to say, oh, that's not me, that's not on me. And I think that's the whole genesis of the idea of extreme ownership, is most of the time, or much of the time, people say that's not my fault, there's nothing I can do about that. And more often than people think, there is something you can do about it. And it is your fault.
The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you insist on keeping in your life, rather than doing the things you know you should be doing but aren't. People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
You're going to change your family's legacy forever. You're going to change your family's financial situation. You're going to change what your mom or dad does every day from 8 to 5. They counting on you. And so again, in that middle, it's up to you how you live. No excuses. It's up to you. You got an internet, use it, right? You got a smartphone, use it. You got technology like we've never had it before. You can fly, right? You got a car, you got trains, right? You got ferry. You have opportunities that some people 30, 40, 50 years ago did not have.
Stop complaining about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. The only way to become more successful than most people is to be willing to do something most people aren't willing to do.
I outwork everybody. And that when the time comes, when the door shuts, when the bell rings, nobody does it better than me. Nobody is more calm than me. I'm able to calm my mind. I swear to God I can go all day long, yeah? All fucking day long I'll go. I never get tired. You're never gonna get me tired ever. I'm 16 weeks over ACL surgery, and I swear to God I'm in better shape than a guy that's fighting next week. A guy that's coming towards the end of his camp. Any of them. I'm in better shape now than they are fucking right before the fight.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you. I think one of the big problems, especially when it comes to reinvention, is in the Rocky movies, the montage of training is 2.5 minutes long. In reality, it can be a decade. Mm-hmm. And I think getting really visceral with what tough times feel like helps people who are going through them to not feel so personally cursed while they're going through them.
If everything is easy in life, if everyone loves what you're going to do, and you have no enemies, you have no opposition, nothing to resist, you're just going to be mush. You're not going to amount to anything. You're not going to be able to push yourself. You're not going to be able to change, evolve. Muhammad Ali said, if I didn't have Joe Frazier around, I would not have become the great boxer that I am.
The reality is, if you give up too soon, if you don't learn all the lessons that you're supposed to learn, you're going to keep going in circles in life, and you will never get to where you're supposed to get to in life. So do me a favor. Don't pack your bags before it's time. Don't pack your bags before it's time. E.T. ain't chilling. E.T. ain't giving up. E.T. is doing more in December than I did in October, than I did in September.
When you're 13 years old, you look at your parents and you say, wait, I'm going to need to go out on my own. I need to break away from these people somehow. I need to make that happen. And so you just start making that happen and usually do a pretty good job of it. So that, to me, that's where a lot of that 180 can come from, where you're looking at your parents, I need to get away from them. I need to break the ties that I have with them. And I need to do that so I can go out on my own. And if I still have these ties to them, then I'll be stuck here forever.
I had spent 18 years or so acquiring high levels of skill in writing. Okay? I learned in journalism how to write under a deadline, under pressure, how to make it dramatic, how to make the opening sentence exciting enough to make you read on further. Trying to write novels taught me about creating stories, which is a huge part of my writing. Working in Hollywood, I learned how to research, which is a huge element, and then the theatrical element, making things dramatic, also story. Okay? All of that time, slowly by slowly, brick by brick, I had developed real level skill. So when it came time to write the 48 Laws of Power, I could do it. I had learned all this discipline. I had learned how to write under a deadline. I learned how to make things entertaining, the whole bag. So sometimes success when you're in your 20s is the worst thing that can happen to you, because you have no discipline, you have no perspective, you think it's just going to keep going the way it is, you're not aware of all the dangers out there, you don't have life experience enough to realize how things can turn on you very quickly. If I had been given the chance to write the 48 Laws of Power when I was in my 20s and I had success, it would have ruined me. I probably wouldn't have had success.
Why?
Because I wasn't ready for it. Look, Chris, I had so much failure until I was essentially 39 years old, pushing 40, that I had perspective, that I know what it's like to fail. And so when I had success, wasn't like, wow, I'm the greatest thing that ever happened. I can just live off this forever. My next book's going to be fantastic. No, I have a little voice in me that says, Robert, you failed so many times, you're probably going to fail again, right? You've seen so many people in Hollywood who started off hot and bombed. I had experience to know that I can't take this for granted. I have to be careful. I have to be strategic.
You have to be your biggest advocate. All right, listen to what I'm saying. Like, you gotta advocate for yourself like nobody else can. All right, so because there are people like, I'm reading, E.T., my mama don't support me. E.T., my daddy ain't there. E.T., I just got fired from my job. E.T., I applied for a scholarship, I didn't get it. Listen to me, you are your greatest advocate. It's not about what other people are doing for you or not doing for you. It's about what you're doing for yourself. And as long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're putting in the effort, baby, it's gonna change. All right, all of this, I'm getting tired, I need to quit. What should I do? Listen to me. If you don't advocate for yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, you'll never become or do what you're supposed to do. It might take 2 years, it might take 5 years.
Success is the only revenge. As you expand, they shrink into irrelevance. As you get louder, no one can hear them. You don't beat them, you cast a shadow so big, no one can see them to begin with. When people copy, they copy the wrong stuff because they don't know why it worked to begin with. And when it breaks, they don't know how to fix it because they didn't build it. So don't sweat it. Copycats will always be behind.
Don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't go pick it back up. There's a dream you left 2-3 years ago. Somebody told you couldn't do it, and you internalized that foolishness. Stop listening to the haters. Shut them down. Shut them up. You want to shut your haters up, how do? You do it by being successful. You don't do it by falling into their traps, doing what they want you to do, putting your head down. You don't do it by not being successful. Let me tell you what I learned. Nothing succeeds like success. And so pick your dream back up, pick your goals back up, kill a noise, shut them down, and surround yourself with people who will help you,
Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to realize that you have to want to get out of it, and you have to want it badly enough. So you got to figure out a path out of this trap that you're in. And it is a trap because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it becomes a habit and it's going to stay with you your whole life. So every time there isn't a paycheck, you're going to freak out and you're going to go get the quickest, easiest job that you can get. You have to break out of that. So I tell people, even in the most despondent circumstances, first of all, think of what is that childhood thing that you loved? It doesn't have to be specific. It doesn't have to be a very specific job. It's just something that excited you, all right? Okay, we want to start moving in that direction. When you find your life's task, everything opens up. It doesn't mean you figured out, okay, I've got to aim for this particular job when I'm 28. That's not how it works. It gives you a sense of direction. You can try different things. You can experiment. You can have fun when you're in your 20s. You're going to learn skills. But it gives you an overall framework instead of, whoa, all of this confusion, this chaos, social media, the internet, I could go here. You're lost at sea. It gives you a very important sense of direction, a compass.
I learned that I don't let the highs and lows affect me too much. Because we're going to have wins, we're going to have losses. We're going to have successes, we're going to have failures. We're going to have good nights, we're going to have bad nights. We're going to have good relationships, we're going to have bad relationships. We're going to have good ideas and bad ideas. We're going to make money, we're going to lose money. All these things are going to happen. And if you oscillate emotionally up and down drastically, it's going to be problematic. So finding a good, stable, centered way to be and look at the world and take everything that you see with a little bit of a grain of salt and don't get swayed too drastically in one direction or the other, you're going to be okay.
All you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape, in body and mind. To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5, in an office or in a... That's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do.
You said before about how you build up self-esteem and confidence and stuff. And there's this quote from one of my friends, Alex Hormozy, that says, "You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt."
Yes. That's
nailed. Completely nailed.
Yes, because a lot of people will, and some of these motivational people out here, it's the funniest thing in the world to me. They'll go and say, when you wake up in the morning, pound your chest. You know, fucking look at yourself in the mirror and do all this fucking bullshit. I hope it works. What works for me is that everyday resume. The things I know I've accomplished, the things I know I've done, real hard work, the real calluses on my mind, the real calluses on my hands. That's it.
Consistency doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful, but not being consistent will guarantee that you won't reach success. You have a productivity hack, an easy productivity hack. Instead of spending time getting in the mood to work, just start working. Confront the work. People think they need perfect conditions to start, when in reality, starting is the perfect condition.
Life is a crazy roller coaster, especially this life, you know, so we've ups, we've downs, but I find I'm at my best when I set out, when I say and when I must do something and I know I must do it, and I do it, I execute it. And
You gotta become in order to overcome. You gotta be a student to get good grades. You gotta be a good wife, be a good husband. You gotta be an athlete before you can score and do better than everybody else. You gotta become first, and then once you become, then you can overcome.
You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
I think a lot of entrepreneurship and even personal growth is training yourself on how you respond to hard. Because in the early days, hard was, ooh, stop. This isn't good. I should, this is a warning sign. This is a red flag. I should slow down, or I should stop, I should pivot. But the more I think about it as a competitive landscape, as I'm clear on what this path is supposed to look like, and these rocks and these dragons are things that I'm going to have to slay along the way to get the princess or get the treasure, I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
So your brain needs pressure. It needs constant pressure. And stress and pressure is not a bad thing. We have this thing where we feel like stress is bad. It's bad for you. Bad. You know, you need to relax, man. You need to chill. Stress will kill you. No, being bored will kill you. Not having anything to do will kill you. Is much more dangerous than stress. Yes, you can work too hard. You can work where there's no soul involved. I work like a fiend because I'm writing a book, and it's a very hard process for me. And I'm working far too much, but man, I love it. It's fantastic, right? And it could kill me. The stress could kill me. It gave me a stroke. But I'd rather die under the stress than be bored and have nothing to do.
What you have to do when it's not working with a girl is wish them luck, to give them the best of luck, wish them luck, walk away and don't look back. And you're still going to get those emotions, those things are still going to hit you, but walk away and don't look back. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, if there's any chance that it's going to work out, the best possible way for you to get it to work out is by walking away, by wishing them luck, walking away and don't look back. That's the best way.
How so?
Because if there is something there, then she will let you know eventually. And if there's nothing there, you're going to know that too because you never hear from her again. That's fine. The protocol for getting her back is to walk away and don't look back. That's the protocol, is to move on. The protocol, if she doesn't want you back, is to walk away and don't look back. So look, and I know it's hard, but you'll get some of those waves, but those waves will become less frequent and they'll become less powerful, and eventually you can move on.
The way I look at it is, you, Theo, were born with a DNA that will never be replicated in the past or in the future. It's a unique marker of you, right? So genetically, there is something different about you. Weird, odd, great, whatever you want to put it, okay? And it's like something that's planted at your birth. It's what makes you different from everybody else. It's even what makes you different from your parents, right? I mean, you do inherit their genetics, but it's always different, okay? And so it's like a seed at your birth. If you cultivate that seed, if you cultivate your uniqueness, it gives you a purpose in life. It's why you are unique. You can look at it as if somebody or it's just nature intended it to be this way, but it's what makes you you. It's your energy, it's your character, it's your weirdness, it's your sense of humor. It's what draws you to certain things, what you hate about certain things. It's you. If you listen to that, it's like a voice inside of your head. Instead of listening to all the other bullshit that's around you, what your parents are saying, what your teachers are saying, what your friends are saying, if you listen to that voice clearly, it directs you, it gives you a purpose.
The Lonely chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely chapter. And the problem with it is that you're always, the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there. And you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side. What am I pushing toward? You know, you're telling me that I'm not going to go out on this night out with my friends, which I've done for the last 5 years or 10 years in the town that I grew up in or went to university in or whatever. You're telling me that I'm not going to do that because I'm going to get up and I'm going to meditate or read. Who even knows if meditation works, right? Like, or you've got all of these questions in your mind and all of your friends and all of the dynamics and the temptations pull you back toward that. It pulls you back toward the old version of life. So this Lonely chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be is going to have to let go of people who can't go there with them.
You know, I have the feeling that if you don't know what you're doing and you're just flailing around in life, it's hard to have those peaceful moments in your day-to-day existence. Yeah. You may find them, but what will happen is you will try and grab, because this is the nature of the human animal, you will try to grab that contentment through quick things, through drugs, through online porn, through whatever that will give you that quick, instant little buzz of gratification.
Oh yeah, watching porno.
And that'll become your habit. And you'll feel kind of, I don't know if it's contentment, you know, you'll feel something, some form of pleasure. But those pleasures become harder and become smaller and smaller and smaller and quicker and quicker and quicker. And so it's a trap that you fall into. So I still believe that if you figure out what you were meant to do in life, it opens up doors to having other moments where you don't have to constantly be pursuing, you don't have to constantly be striving, you know.